In order to understand the trends for e-invoicing, we need to distinguish between business to business and business to government and business to customer spaces. So now e-invoicing is growing really fast in business to business and business to government spaces. Also, in terms of the countries that are adopting e-invoicing, it's more than 40% of Scandinavian countries, Belgium, Italy, Spain, Austria, UK, and many others are already adopting e-invoicing. Also, Asia is very mature, and North America is still a bit lagging since they are focusing on their internal processes. This gives us a really nice context to start my presentation of e-invoicing and payment collection processes. First of all, we need to understand what's an e-invoice and what makes an invoice an electronic invoice. So all of us, as companies, we provide a service or sell a product to our customers. Once we do this, when we sell this service or provide this product, we need a document that certifies that this transaction took place. And this is an invoice. It's a claim for payment after a product or a service was provided. And also, it gives us a record of the taxes, of course. So what makes this invoice an electronic invoice? An electronic invoice is an invoice that has some structured data. It's provided in the form of structured data, or also it can be provided in the form of unstructured data. This structured data can become in form of an XML, and also the unstructured data can come in the form of a PDF. Why is this really useful? Because when an electronic invoice comes in the form of structured data, this means that it can be processed automatically really easy. And this will save us a lot of, we will talk about it later. And also, when it comes in the form of unstructured data, this means that it will be easily processed by humans. As you can see, in this example of an invoice, it will be easily processed by any of us where we can read all the required fields. So I would like to show you one implementation I made for one of our customers in which we implemented an e-invoice that uses both the unstructured data and structured data. We have a PDF in which it's understandable easily by humans, and we have all the fields for total amount, for payments received, but then we also have an XML attached that is easily understandable by machines. And this XML comes in the form of a UBL, which is the Universal Business Language, and contains all the required forms. These required forms are established by, in this case, the Ex-Regnum standard for e-invoicing, which is used in Germany and Austria. But also, it could be adapted to any other standard for e-invoicing. We will talk later about the benefits of using an e-invoice, but also many companies are adopting it because of legal reasons. Governments in all of the countries that I previously mentioned are already asking for their companies to adopt e-invoicing. So what are the benefits of using e-invoicing? First of all, we can reduce our cost. We can reduce our cost not only in sending invoices, but also in receiving them. We can save up to 7 euros per invoice sent, but also up to 15 euros per invoice received. Of course, this is only for one invoice. Imagine if all of our companies that we send thousands of invoices per year, we will save a lot of money. Then we can process even much more invoices. One person per year can process up to 6,000 paper invoices right now. But with the use of e-invoicing, we can improve this until 90,000 e-invoices per year. And also, we can reduce our time. We can reduce our time from 15 days for paper invoices up to 3 days for e-invoice. Overall, we can save up to 52% of our cost in the whole process, in the generation, in the sending, receiving, and processing of all of our invoices. Of course, we can improve this a bit more by creating our invoices, for example, with the use of our business designer. These invoices in our process are created by business designer, and as we previously explained in our business designer presentation, we see what are we capable of doing with our business designer. We can empower our business, and we can create nice invoices like this one. So now that we know what an e-invoice is and what are the benefits of using it, it will mean huge benefits for our company. And this will be ideal. But of course, world is not ideal, and this doesn't mean that our customers will pay automatically. The real case is that 33 of the businesses are actually paying late. And this means that we will not be able to pay the salaries of our employees, we will not be able to pay the rent of our building, we will not be able to pay the goods for our production processes. But even more, just in Europe, 62% of the companies are paying late. And from these 62% of the companies, most of them are paying up to 30 days late. But in some cases, they are paying even 2 or even 3 months late. This means that us, as companies, will need to work really hard to get our money back. We will need to start processes where we will need to, for example, send emails to our customers with a friendly tone, reminding them about these payments, maybe even making phone calls in order to make these reminders, sending emails, posts, or making another phone calls with a bit stronger tone to remind them about what's wrong with this payment. And even in some cases, we will need to go to court, which is, of course, the worst case scenario. This is a really time-consuming process, and in most of the cases, it's a manual process. So how can we improve this? How can we make our process better? First of all, the goals of our process will be to speed up our payments and increase these payments. We would also like to reduce the cost of our process. And also, we would like to get an insight of the process. How does it work? When are the payments done? Who is usually paying late and who is paying early? How can we achieve these goals? For example, with the use of one-click payment. Also with the use of A/B testing of our payment terms, or also the use of A/B testing of our reminder text, in which we can send reminders with different tones, some more friendly, some stronger tone, and then see how they work with our customers. Also, we can reduce our costs by the digitalization of our communication, also by digitalization of our payments, also done with our one-click payment, and also by making our process automatic. We mentioned before that most of these processes are right now done manually, so we will want to make them automatic and reduce a lot our cost. And also, we can also reduce our cost by the use of our business designer to empower our business. And we can also get an insight of our process by using reporting for reporting the invoice trends, payment terms, or also our collection process itself. So now I would like to show you how this can work for you. This is an example of one implementation that we worked on, in which we used a payment provider from US called TransPay, but of course we can also use any other payment provider as it's preferred by you. In this example, we show you an invoice in the PDF form that has one link and one QR code. This link and QR code will automatically take our customers to the payment provider page. This is integrated by using REST service. They automatically will get to their payment provider, in which they can enter all the credit card information, they can review if their data is actually correct, and they can go to the next step where they can confirm that this payment is correct and also enter a signature, also done because of legal reasons. So now I would like to show you an example on how this will look like, in which we generate an invoice using our ADF. Here you see our ADF view, and here you see how the invoice is processed, and then all the invoices are sent to the customer. Here you see how they were generated, and the input data that it was used is an XML data. But of course, it can come in any other format as it might be required. Here you see all the tasks that were used for sending all the emails using printed delivery. And here you see how we get all the invoices by email for all of our customers. We will select the following for the customer Lucas Prior. And then if we click to the link, we can also access the invoice in HTML form. In this HTML, we have the same information, also with nice charts, and also with a URL that will take us to our payment provider. Then the customer will be able to fill in all the data, then check if the data was correct also for the first name and last name. Also, the credit card will be validated in order to check if it's a valid credit card. And then the customer will be able to continue to the next step of the process where it can check all the details. Once the details were checked, then it will reach the signature part where it can either be draw or it can type the signature, and then the payment will be processed. Here we see our confirmation page where we see that the payment was processed and we can check all the details. But in the background, all the information was already sent to our system. So if we go back to our web archive where we store all of our data and invoices, we see how we can check all the invoices, and if we go back to the one from Lucas, which is the one that we selected, we see that the payment was already done because it was automatically sent back to our system. This is how the process can look like right now with the use of TransPay. But of course, this is only the process for invoices. We were mentioning that one of our benefits is the automatization of the whole collection process. And how can we do that? We can do that with the automated reminders that right now are created with the use of Business Designer, of course. So here we see how our reminders will look like, which looks really nice. And of course, we have different reminders with different tones, as we also mentioned that we will have different reminders according to the time that they need to be sent. This reminder, for example, is an example of a reminder for early payments where we offer some discount to the customers that pay early. Also some friendly reminder for the ones that need to be sent before due date, or some other reminders with a bit stronger tone to remind our customers that it's already after due date and maybe it was 30 days after due date that they needed to pay. This process will be triggered daily, and then it will check if a reminder needs to be sent or also if a reminder was already sent. And of course, it will check, as it's integrated with the payment provider, that if the payment was already done by the customer. All of this information, the documents, the information from the payment process, the information from all the reminders that were sent, will be stored in our web archive. And this will give us a lot of information in order to achieve another one of our goals, which is the get insight of our payment process. We can analyze what is happening in our payment process. Here we see an example of one of the dashboards that we created for the analysis of the invoices. We see some charts that will give information on the paid invoices, unpaid invoices, also a chart with information of the different reminders and different stages. Also, we can have some analysis of the unpaid invoices, in which we can have information for different periods of time, also some drill down of all the detailed invoices to get more information on one of each invoice, and also an analysis of paid invoices, where we can get an analysis of the A/B testing for the payment terms, for the collection process, for the reminders, different reminders sent, or also some information regarding invoices per country to see which countries tend to pay early, which countries tend to pay late. But also, besides the dashboards, we can create really nice reports using, again, our Business Designer. These reports will also gather the same information that we showed in our dashboard, but in this case, it can be delivered in face of a document. Now I would like to show you a video where we can see how these dashboards and these reports are looking like. Here you see how we get to one of our dashboards, and if we select one of the parts of our chart, it will automatically be updated in the right part of the chart. And here we can select each invoice individually to get more information. Also, if we go back to the left part of our chart, we will automatically get our dashboard updated. And this will also allow us to get an analysis, as I mentioned, of the A/B testing, also of the billing date trends, or any other information that might be useful for us. But also we can have our nice reports. Some of our customers, for example, are using these reports to be sent weekly and then gather all the information that might be useful for them in order to improve their process, in order to get their payments done earlier. So this is how our process is looking like, our payment collection solution, in which we used a lot of our standard frameworks, such as Business Designer for the creation of invoices and reminders, Also, printed delivery for sending these invoices and reminders in every channel that might be required, such as email, print, fax, anyway. Then also reporting in order to get an insight of our process and be able to improve this process. We used also adaptive case management for controlling our process, and also Business Designer for Capture can be used in order to get the incoming invoices. In case that you also want more information about Business Capture, we have a nice presentation by Ekaterina in which this is explained more in detail. So to wrap up, this is our payment collection process, and we just would like to help you in order to make your process better. We would like to help you to reduce your cost. We would like to help you to get an insight of your payments. We would like to help you to, of course, adapt to your own needs, and of course, we would like to help you to get paid faster.
Thank you, Patricia. That was very, very interesting. I have collected some questions for you that would be interesting also to answer. And one of them is, for example, what if someone in our audience would use already SAP for billing? Would we somehow be able to integrate with that as well?
Of course, that's a really nice question. We have already done it many times. And actually, as I mentioned before, for our process, in this case, we had an XML as input data, but it doesn't matter in which format it comes the file, because we can adapt to any platform. So for example, if our customers use SAP, they don't need to change the format they are actually working on. We will adapt to that, and we can actually integrate it really easily. Not only for getting the data, but also for sending the data back to SAP or any other platform. It can be done really easily, as I showed with the TransPay payment provider. Once the payment is done, it's automatically sent back either to our system or also to other systems that might be required.
That's very great. What about invoices that we receive or the customer receives that he has to pay? Would we be able to handle that as well?
Of course. Also, in this case, there are two possibilities. We can even have customers that are using already e-invoicing. As we mentioned already, this is actually growing, and it's what we are heading to. And this will be, of course, no problem, because it will be integrated with our system. But also in the cases of incoming invoices in paper or also by email and so, then all these invoices can be easily captured by our business capture, and then it can be integrated with our system.